Hey, this is David again from the Shepherd School, and what we're going to do today is we're going to make some mozzarella cheese. They call it 30-minute mozzarella, but it really takes a little longer than that depending on how cold your milk is and those sorts of things. But it's really simple. Uses about any kind of milk as long as it's not that ultra high temperature pasteurized boxed milk. You probably could even get away with using dried milk, and we'll try that at a later date. You can use low-fat milk, but the fresher and the higher the fat content of the milk, the better quality cheese you're going to have. So I'm just using some regular vitamin D milk. You're also going to need some Rennet tablets. They're getting harder to find. I found out the other day that the Walmart quit selling them in my area because people didn't buy them. So had to go to a local store. But you just get some Rennet tablets. You can also special order them, but you get them at the grocery store, and they come in these little packs. And the tablets, they've got scores on them, so you can break them up. For a gallon of milk, you only need about a quarter of a tablet, so I broke it in half, and then I broke that half again. And you want to put that Rennet tablet in a quarter cup of cool, unchlorinated water, so distilled water or bottled water, and you want to crush that tablet up and let it sit. Okay. Next thing you're going to need is you're going to need some citric acid. You can order this online. You can probably find it at the store too if you look. I'm lucky to have a local brew shop, cheese shop, so I bought some. And you want to put about 1.5 teaspoons of that per cup of cool water per gallon of milk that you're going to use. And I'm only going to use a gallon of milk, and so I'm only going to use 1.5 teaspoons. Okay? Next thing you need to do is take your milk and pour it in your stainless steel pot. Now, you have to use stainless steel. Aluminum's not going to work. It'll give you an off taste, so will cast iron. If you've got a good enameled pot that doesn't have any chips, you could probably get away with it, but stainless steel is going to be the best. So you're just going to pour this in here, and you're going to heat it up. You're going to heat it up to about 88, 89 degrees. I think my recipe actually says 90, but we're not wanting to heat it up real quick. We're surely not wanting to scald. So I'm going to put it on medium heat, and I've got a thermometer, and I'm going to check it. So I want to heat it to about 90 degrees, and while it's cold, I'm going to add my citric acid, and I'm going to stir that up. And it's that acid that's going to help make, I didn't let it dissolve enough, but it's that acid that's going to actually help make it curdle and turn into mozzarella. Okay. So as it gets to about 90 degrees, you're probably going to notice that it's going to start to curdle a little bit, and that's because of the acid and the temperature. Once it gets to 90 degrees, and I'm going to keep measuring it with my thermometer. Got an electric one, but you can use a candy thermometer, doesn't matter. When it gets up to 90 degrees, I'm going to pull it off the heat, and I'm going to add my rennet. Okay? And we'll show you how that happens when this gets up to temperature. So we'll come back once the milk's to temp. 89, 90. Okay, so we're going to remove it from the heat, and we're going to slowly stir in the rennet, stirring it up and down, motion for about 30 seconds. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to let this sit undisturbed for about 5 minutes. And that rennet, along with the acid, is going to make this gel and solidify into curds. And then we're going to cut it just like we did the cheddar earlier. So we're just going to let that sit. Set the timer for 5 minutes. And we're going to come back in just a second. Okay. As you let it sit, you may need to let it sit a little longer than 5 minutes. We had to this time. It just depends on the cheese. But it is curdled up. So now what you want to do is you want to cut it in kind of a checkerboard pattern, just like you did for the cheddar. And then you want to heat it to about 105 degrees while slowly stirring those curds. Okay. My digital thermometer broke, so I had to go get my backup thermometer. And so I'm just going to heat this back up as I stir this. Kind of slowly. I don't want to tear it up. And it'll take a minute. And when it gets up to 105 and I take it off the heat, we'll come back. Okay, it got up to 105 degrees. And I'm just going to stir this really slow and gentle for about 5 minutes. Because I like my cheese to be a little more firm. Okay. 5 minutes are up. So we're just going to scoop this out. Okay, that's what it looks like after getting it out of the pot, but there's a little bit of whey in there. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the microwave on high for about 1 minute, okay? And that's going to drive up some of that whey, some of that water, and then we'll pour it off. So put it in there, cook it for a minute. Okay, so this is after the first minute.
It really does look like cottage cheese.
And we'll leave a little bit of water in there. It'll come out next time. And we'll do it again for, like I said, 30 seconds. Okay, here it is out of the microwave. Each time we do that, it gets just a little more solid and a little less water in there. So. Alright, now I've got some ice water for me to dip my hands in, because now I've got to knead this, and I do not want to burn myself. And it's pretty hot. You want to just keep folding it over until it becomes a smooth, silky texture. Rubber gloves would help at this point too. Starting to get a little more rubbery, and there's not as much water coming out, so I think it's about time for me to put it on this here rolling pin. Okay. Knead it, and heat it, knead it and heat it. And if you heat it enough and you knead it enough, it'll start getting smooth and pully. Nice and stretchy, smooth texture. And then once you've got it to the texture that you want, throw a little bit of ice water, cool it down, and there you go. Then all you do is get you a knife, cut you off a chunk, and you knead it just like that. Or you can let it cool down, grate it, and put it on your pizza. It don't matter, but that's all you do for the easy ricotta. So until next time, you can always catch us on the blog at www.tngun.com.